Rogers Puppet Players, Library Players presents The Boy Who Cried Wolf.
There once was a shepherd boy who was bored as he sat on the hillside watching the village of sheep. To amuse himself, he took a great breath and cried out,
"Wolf! Wolf! The wolf is chasing the sheep!"
Huh?
A policeman came running up the hill to help the boy drive the wolf away. But when they arrived at the top of the hill, he saw that there was no wolf. The boy laughed at the sight of the policeman's angry face.
You should see your face!
Don't cry wolf when there's no wolf.
Yeah, that was uncalled for.
The sheep is right. You shouldn't have done that.
The policeman turned around and climbed back down the hill. Later, the boy cried out again.
"Wolf! Wolf! The wolf is chasing the sheep!"
I am not.
Don't tell me I ran all the way up this hill again and there is no wolf. You are being very naughty, young man. Save your frightened song for when there's really something wrong. Don't cry wolf when there's no wolf.
Yeah, you better listen.
But the boy just grinned and watched the policeman go grumbling down the hill. Now, the wolf was a pretty smart guy. He knew that if the boy cried again, chances are nobody would believe him. So he decided to take that chance and began prowling around the flock of sheep. The boy leapt to his feet and cried out as loudly as he could.
"Wolf! Wolf! The wolf is getting the sheep! Please help me!"
Oh no, a wolf! I'll teach that boy a lesson. This is bad.
The people heard the boy cry, but they had been fooled already and didn't want to get fooled again. So they ignored the boy. Later that evening, everyone wondered why the shepherd boy hadn't returned to the village with their sheep. They went up the hill to find the boy crying.
"There really was a wolf here! He took the sheep! I cried out, 'Wolf! Why didn't you come to help me?'"
Let this be a lesson to you. Nobody believes a liar, even when he's telling the truth.
The end. And now, falling for Rapunzel.
Once upon a bad hair day, a prince rode up on Rapunzel's way. From up above he heard her whine, upset her hair had lost its shine. He thought her crying was a plea and sallied forth to set her free. Alas, she was too far away to quite make out what he would say.
"Rapunzel, Rapunzel, throw down your hair."
Okay, here's some underwear.
"No, Rapunzel, toss down your curly locks."
Oh, careful, these are really dirty socks.
"Please, love, just pitch me your silky tresses."
Why do you want my dresses?
"Rapunzel, could you send down a rope?"
Sure, here's some soap.
"Rapunzel, please, I have asked for silver items. Have you not heard?"
Here's a bird.
"Rapunzel, how about twine?"
Look out, here's my prize swine.
"Do you have a ladder?"
It's an odd time for pancake batter.
Ow!
Take care of my cow.
"Rapunzel, Rapunzel, please, throw down your braid."
Okay, here's my maid.
For what it's worth, you'll find I'm really down to earth.
"My heart is thrilled."
I really fell for you.
Oh, I'm so glad I finally heard him right. But I do hope if they come back for more, they'll just knock on my door.
The end.
The Princess Mouse, A Tale of Finland.
Once there was a farmer with 2 sons. One morning he said to them,
"Boys, you're old enough now to marry, but in our family, we have our own way to choose a bride."
You've told us, Father. We must cut down a tree and see where it points.
That's right, and then walk that way till you find a sweetheart. That's how we've done it, and that's how we always will.
Ha! They already know who I want to marry. I'm going to chop down my tree so it will point to the farm where my sweetheart lives.
The younger son, whose name was Miko, didn't have a sweetheart, but he thought he'd try his luck in the town. Well, maybe he cut the wrong tree, or maybe it had thoughts of its own, but it fell pointing to the forest.
Ha! Good job, Miko. What sweetheart will you find there? A wolf or a fox? Never mind. I'll find who I find. Ooh, a cottage. I knew it. I knew I'd find a sweetheart.
But when he went inside, he saw no one.
All this way for nothing.
Maybe not.
Did you say something?
Of course I did. Now, why don't you tell me your name and what you came for?
Well, my name is Miko, and I've come looking for a sweetheart.
Whee! Why, Miko, I'll be glad to be your sweetheart.
But you're only a mouse.
That may be true, but I can still love you faithfully. Besides, even a mouse can be special. Come, feel my fur.
Well, that feels like velvet, just like the gown of a princess.
That's right, Miko. Miko, sweetheart, I will be. What a fine young man is he. Gown of velvet I do wear, like a princess fine and red.
All right, little mouse, you can be my sweetheart.
Oh, Miko, I promise you won't be sorry.
When Miko got home, his brother was already there boasting to their father.
My sweetheart has rosy cheeks with long golden hair.
Sounds very nice. And what about yours, Miko?
Yes, Miko, did you find a sweetheart with a nice fur coat? Mine was a velvet gown, like a princess. What?
Well, it sounds like Miko's tree pointed a good way too. But now I must test both your sweethearts. Tomorrow you ask them to weave you some cloth, and you'll bring it home to me. That's how we've done it, and that's how we always will.
They started out early next morning. When Miko reached the cottage in the woods, there was the little mouse on the table, jumping up and down in happiness.
Oh, Miko, I'm so glad you're here. Is this the day of our wedding?
Not yet, little mouse.
Why, Miko, you look so sad. What's wrong?
My father wants you to weave some cloth. But how can you do that? You're only a mouse.
That may be true, but I'm also your sweetheart. Surely Miko's sweetheart can weave, but you must be tired from your walk. Why don't you rest while I work?
All right.
Miko lay down on a bed in the corner, and the little mouse sang him a pretty lullaby.
Miko's sweetheart I will be. What a fine young man is he. Cloth of linen I will weave. I'll be done when he must leave.
When Miko was asleep, out of mouse holes all around the room poured hundreds of mice. The princess told them what to do. They spun flax into yarn on the spinning wheel. Then they weaved the cloth. When they were finished, they cut the cloth from the loom and tucked it into a nutshell. Then they scampered back to their mouse holes.
Miko, wake up! It's time to go home. And here is something for your father.
Thank you, little mouse.
When he got home, his brother was proudly presenting the cloth from his sweetheart.
Strong and fairly even. Good enough for simple folks like us. And where is yours, Miko?
Here you go. Ooh, look at that. Miko asked for cloth and his sweetheart gave him a nut.
But the farmer opened the nutshell and peered inside. Then he pinched at something and started to pull. Out came a delicate, intricately woven linen, fine beyond belief.
There can be no better weaver than Miko's sweetheart. But both your sweethearts will do just fine. Tomorrow you bring them home for the wedding. That's how we've done it, and that's how we always will.
When Miko arrived at the cottage next morning, the little mouse again jumped up and down.
Oh, Miko, is this the day of our wedding?
It is, little mouse.
Why, Miko, what's wrong?
How can I bring home a mouse to marry? My father and brother and all of our friends and neighbors will laugh and think I'm a fool.
They might think so indeed. But Miko, what do you think?
I think you're as sweet as any sweetheart could be. So let them laugh and think what they like. Today you'll be my bride.
Oh, Miko, you've made me the happiest mouse in the world.
The little mouse rode in a tiny carriage that was pulled by 4 black rats. Miko ran alongside the carriage. At last they reached the farm and then the spot for the wedding, on the bank of a lovely, swiftly flowing stream.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
And with one quick kick, he sent the carriage, the rats, and the mice all into the stream. Before Miko could do a thing, the current bore them away.
What have you done? You killed my sweetheart. Are you crazy? It was only a mouse. She may have been a mouse, but she was also my sweetheart, and I really did love her.
Miko, look!
Miko turned and to his amazement saw 4 black horses pulling a carriage out of the stream, and inside was a soaked but lovely princess in a gown of velvet. Miko walked over to help her out of the stream.
Are you the little mouse?
I surely was, but no longer. A witch enchanted me, and the spell could be broken only by one brother who wanted to marry me and another who wanted to kill me. But sweetheart, I need a change of clothes. I can't look like a drowned rat at our wedding.
And a grand wedding it was, with Miko's bride and the wonder of all. Of course, Miko's brother was a bit jealous, but his own bride was really quite nice, so he couldn't feel too bad. The next day, the princess brought Miko back to her cottage, but it was a cottage no longer. It was an incredible castle with hundreds of rooms, and there they made their home happy. And if Miko and the princess have any sons,
You'll know just how they choose their brides. And now, the Webb Files.
It was 6:32 a.m. Partners Bill and Webb were working the barnyard shift. It was peaceful, quiet. Then they got the call. Ring, ring.
A lot of squawking going on down in the coop area, Detective Webb. Looks like foul play. Report says feathers are flying. Chief says we should check out the chicks.
Chicks,
Check.
let's fly.
Dum-dee-dum-dum.
6:35 a.m. The hen's house. They knocked on the door. She answered.
Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
I've been robbed! Robbed, I tell you! Robbed!
So what you're saying is that you were robbed. Is that right, ma'am? What's exactly missing from the nest, ma'am? Eggs, ma'am? Chicks, ma'am?
Peppers!
Peppers.
My pretty purple peppers that were just about ready to be pickled.
About how many perfect purple, almost pickled peppers would you say were pilfered, pinched, and picked? A bushel?
A peck! I tell you, a whole perfect purple pepper pick and pack!
Have you any idea who would pick a peck of your perfect purple, almost pickled peppers?
Not a clue!
Webb turned to Bill and gave a quick quack.
Quack! Round up the usual suspects.
Dum-dee-dum-dum.
9:06 a.m. Police headquarters was hopping. A miss named Muffet had just been tossed off her tuffet, and a gal named Peep was missing some sheep. Webb noticed that 2 of the 3 little pigs were loitering in the station. He told them to go home, but they began to cry and said the wolf blew their houses in. Webb wanted to help. He couldn't. He had some almost pickled, pilfered, perfect, pure purple peppers to worry about. He decided to make a little boy blue quack.
Okay, blue boy, quit blowing your horn. Time to make the hay. Suppose you just tell me where you were this morning.
I'm innocent, I tell you, innocent. I was under the haystack, fast asleep. Honest, ask anybody.
Yeah, sure, I've heard that bedtime story before. Bill, got any witnesses?
No, the sheep were in the meadow. Cows were in the corn.
And then they got another call.
Yes. There's been some horsing around reported down near Barn and Peck. Looks like another robbery.
They put the kid out to pasture.
Dum-dee-dum-dum.
10:43 a.m. Corner of barn and pen. Bill and Webb settled down a horse.
Whoa, you there. I'd like to ask you a few questions if you don't mind, sir.
Nay, not at all.
What do you know about a peck of unlawfully picked, perfect purple, almost pickled peppers?
Peppers? Peppers? A peck of purple peppers? Not a thing. But somebody just hightailed it out of here with a tub of my tartest tasty tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
You say tomatoes, I say tomatoes. But somebody just hauled off the whole thing.
And find my lettuce while you're at it, too. Somebody just lifted a load of my luscious leafy lettuce not just 10 minutes ago. This is bad. Really bad.
Bill looked at Webb and scratched his head.
Peppers, tomatoes, lettuce? What do you make of all of this, Webb?
There was only one thing to make out of all of this.
Salad.
Dum dee dum dum.
11:47 a.m., the squad room. The partners were still trying to quack the case, but they didn't have any idea who to ID.
Rats. That's it.
There was only one suspect who was sneaky enough, wily enough, and tricky enough to pick a peck of perfect purple, almost pickled peppers, take a tub of tasty tart tomatoes, and lift a load of luscious leafy lettuce. 12:22 p.m. Bill and Webb were hot on the trail of the dirty rat.
Dum dee dum dum.
12:46 p.m. Dirty Rat's home. A real hole in the wall.
We know you're holed up in there, you dirty rat. Let us in.
He did.
What's up, Doc? There's been some trouble down on the farm. What do you know about a rash of recent robberies?
Robberies? Robberies? What makes you think I know anything about robberies? I'm no cheesy snitch.
Can it, Bratzo? You've been not in nothing but garbage for years.
Okay, sure. Go ahead, Flatfoot. Look anywhere you want. But make it quick, quacker. You're interrupting my lunch.
Lunch, eh, rodent?
Hey, that's going out there. You're not going to pin this rap on me. What's your evidence, you waddling webbed foot? You got nothing on me. Nothing. See? I'm clean. Clean, I tell ya. Clean.
Not clean enough, you dirty rat.
Bill smelled his breath.
Just as I suspected. Garlic, mayo.
Book him, Ducko. His salad days are over.
Over? But I haven't even had my dessert.
Huh, looks like you cracked another one, Webb. But how did you ever figure out it was him?
Just played a hunch. He ate the evidence for lunch and forgot to use his napkin and brush his teeth. He's a dirty rat. He never did have good hygiene.
Dum dee dum dum. The end.